Hello, everyone. Dave here. This is my month 10 Nvidia and Bitcoin investment portfolio update. It is December 24th, 2024. So, Merry Christmas Eve to everyone who celebrates Christmas. I am severely jet lagged. I traveled to America 9 days ago and spent a few days with family and friends there, and then just rode on an airplane for over 16 hours from the East Coast to Detroit, all the way back to Seoul Incheon Airport in South Korea. So please bear with me for the crazy hair and probably messed up voice. But I wanted to do this video before things start to pick up tomorrow for Christmas and in a couple days for New Year's, where I'll be traveling with my family here based in Korea. So let's go ahead and get started. So, just for anyone new to the channel, until March of 2034, I am investing solely into Bitcoin and Nvidia, nothing else. I recently posted a video where I'm kind of starting this hobby of collecting gold. And some of you may view that as an investment or a hedge against inflation, which it kind of is, but I am not putting nearly as much money and time into that as I am into Bitcoin and Nvidia. So, just a disclaimer there for new viewers to the channel. So, the investment amount for this month, December of 2024, I put $0 towards Nvidia shares and I put $1,089 towards Bitcoin. All right. So, before I left for the United States, I put $693 towards Bitcoin at 97K. And just this morning, I purchased $396 worth of Bitcoin at 94K. So, the whole idea with this is that I believe for 2025, Bitcoin is really going to be um, on a pretty big bull run or bull market, if you will. So I'm putting a lot of funds towards that right now. And I kind of go back and forth between Bitcoin and Nvidia with what I invest in per month. Sometimes I go 50%, sometimes I go 80, 20, 60, 40. It all fluctuates, but either way, I'm investing into both of these things. Nvidia right now has kind of slowed down with this monthly return since the beginning of 2024. They just had their earnings call last month. It didn't generate quite a big positive return that I had expected. But either way, long term, money towards either one of these things, I believe, is going to generate a pretty big return. And the one thing I'm happy about is that Bitcoin went to about $107 or $107,000, 107K per Bitcoin last week, and it now dropped down to 94, which is a big buying opportunity for me. And I believe an investment towards Bitcoin at this point under 100K per Bitcoin is a great, great thing. And I think it's going to generate a pretty big return here within the next year or so. So that's my whole approach towards that and what I invested in for the month of December. Now, my current portfolio value. Let's take a look at this here. So for Nvidia, I have 120.96 shares valued at $16,825. And for Bitcoin, I have 0.189 Bitcoin at $17,831. And that comes out to a total portfolio value of $34,656. Now, um, even though the overall portfolio value increased from November to this month of December, I did generate a negative return, minus 2.23%. Okay. And I have a graph for both of these in the next slide. But basically, what it came down to is this whole, what is it, the Powell, like the Federal Reserve rate cut. And they're going from four rate cuts next year down to two, and all this stuff with what the Fed's going to be doing next month. And on top of that, there's just growing fear with all these drones over in New Jersey and the Ukraine Russia conflict. This, just kind of lowering investor sentiment with the markets right now. So everything is kind of in red. Nvidia is down for the month. Bitcoin is down for the month, but it is what it is. All right. This is just a short term thing. Whatever Jerome Powell and the Fed decide to do, the government shut down, this and that, it's all just news, and it's just a little blimp in the bigger picture. So even though my overall portfolio value went up, the return from last month, November generated over an 18% return, primarily because of Bitcoin and because Trump was elected. So investors became very bullish on that. And now we're down to minus 2.23% for this month. So we'll keep trucking on here, but that's just the stats for this month. Now let's take a look at this graph here. So this is the 2024 monthly return percentages, specifically for or solely for Bitcoin and Nvidia. So you can kind of look down the line here from March to December of this year for both Bitcoin and Nvidia, and mainly positive returns. Okay, and Bitcoin has generated some. They had back in April an over a 14% um, negative return. But, anyways, I'm not going to provide commentary on all these different things. But the one thing you can notice is in December of this month, both are in the negative again because of Jerome Powell, what the Fed's going to do, the looming government shutdown or news about that, these drones over New Jersey, which I did see when I went back home firsthand, and which is very, very bizarre. And we all know the government knows what's up with that. They're just not telling us common people what's happening. And again, the whole thing with Ukraine and Russia, there's North Korean troops there, yada, 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 all this stuff. Again, it's just short term little news that's affecting returns for the month. Big picture, it's not going to really affect things, I believe, for both Bitcoin and Nvidia. And on the bottom here, I just included the S&P 500 return percentage since March of 24, and overall they're up 7.44%. But when you compare that to Nvidia and Bitcoin's returns, the average return since March of 24, it's kind of, you know, in the shadows of both of these things. Okay, so just something to consider. I am not trashing the S&P 500 or the index. I'm not trashing the triple Q, the top 100 stocks in Nasdaq. I'm not doing that at all. I'm just saying, in comparison to Bitcoin and Nvidia, it's in the shadows a little bit. So there you go with that. Finally, here's the graph of my portfolio since I started investing here, okay? And again, you can kind of see in November to December, there was a very slight return, just basically a little north of $300. And that's because of the money I put towards it. And I had a minus 2.26, I believe, return percentage from November into December with all this negative news going around. Again, like I discussed multiple times in this video. So this is basically what it is, guys. And this whole channel, what I do is just track my investment both into Nvidia and Bitcoin. I sometimes split it up each month. I sometimes put one, I invest all my funds into one over the other, and it just changes. Okay. Bitcoin is kind of what I'm really investing into right now because of um, you know, the sentiment that 2025 is going to be a pretty big bull market. All right. We're fluctuating around 100K per Bitcoin here in December of 2024. Nvidia's back up to about $139 per share. That's been going up and down pretty big since the end of November. But these are two things that I'm not going to sell out of, and I'm going to keep putting money towards it. All right. So that's what it is for this month. Guys, please like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video. Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, and health and strength to you and your family. See ya.